Rev up your engines for the Mid-Michigan Biker Podcast with Big E. Proudly sponsored by Christensen Law, where bikers helping engine bikers is more than just a motto. It's our commitment to the biker community. Be sure to tune in and listen to the latest news and biker buzz. And for all your personal injury needs, be sure to contact the Christensen Law team at 248-900-9000. What's up, bikers? It's Big E, and you're listening to the Mid-Michigan Biker Podcast. We're talking all things bikes, the freedom of the road, and the brotherhood that makes this lifestyle what it is. From killer tips to wild stories from the highway, we've got it all right here. Life is short, bikers, so let's get after it. Hey everybody, Happy New Year and welcome back to the Mid-Michigan Biker Podcast. So, we're going to kick off the new year with Derek Long. And those of you that are not familiar with Derek, he is the brainchild behind the Wyld Stallions motorcycle build-off. Welcome to the podcast, Derek.
Hello. Pleasure to be with you today. Funny you say brainchild. I always find that funny. I was always thinking like a small baby with a very large brain for some reason when that thing gets said.
Yeah.
That statement.
So this is going to be the third annual?
It's the third annual Wyld Stallions motorcycle build competition.
And it is kicking off. When does everyone have to have their entry? Today, I believe, right? It'll be the first, January 1st?
Entries. January 1st will be everything's cut off. We started talking about who is going to be billed. I'm going to be, where are they from? Who's coming in? Stuff like that. We'll have a list up, and that will be go time. And then we drop our first introductions and really start going mid-January into February 1st is our official media release time where we get all the introductions, so what they're going to build, stuff like that comes out.
Very cool. So what are some of the guidelines to get entered into this? I know you have, it's got to be 25 years old or older, the bike does?
It's got to be 25 years or older unless if it is, approved by the I don't know, the three of us that kind of run this scenario. I started and I got two others helping me out, Nick Carland, and I got Mac Black. He's also helped me out. And we kind of get a final vote. But other than that, I'd like to see old working motorcycles that somebody really put some passion into. We have, a good 6 months, make sure we're having regular updates, wherever they are in their build area, where they're at in their process and go from there. It's got to be most of the thing that I really want to look for. The most important, I should say, is I want people to be working with their hands in this. I want them to be doing this. And that's what I'm looking for. I don't care if it's oh, you've done this 1,000 times, or if you've done this one, made
right.
one. but you have all the skills to be able to do it. The metal work, you're a fabricator, but you just haven't really put it into a bike yet. I want to see people's hands dirty, seeing them making, their parts, making it part of who they are. That's what I'm really looking for.
Right. So last year, how many bikes were built?
Last year, there was 10 bikes, 9 showed up at the end. So
that's pretty good.
We did quite well.
Yeah.
We did real well last year. I'm looking for I want to tell you, this year's going to be even better from what it's looking like right now. Hindsight looking forward, this is going to be one heck of a year.
Got some good entries, you think?
Oh, yeah.
So far, yeah.
Good entries, people with, good skills, good stories. One thing also I like is the good story. Like, we got somebody that really wants to do it, so they're going to get guidance to be able to do it, but they're going to do it on their own.
Right. Right.
I love that story. I want to get into this. Well, who helped you get along? Somebody helped. Well, let's just, document that story. I have other people who it's like, Nick's been with me since the get. It's going to be his third time coming around. He better bring something himself. It's going to be a pretty good competition here also. So I'm looking at good scenarios upcoming.
So you got a kind of a blend, it sounds like, of people that have been doing it and then people that want to get into it.
Yeah, and I've also, this whole thing to me is also about bringing people together. Maybe people didn't want to take and really pull the trigger on it, and then something like this comes along. But if they have the will, then I'm willing to take a shot with them because, hey, I was not too far, long ago where I would have needed somebody to take a shot on myself. So
right.
Here it is. I want to, I'll promote them as much as possible as long, that's the thing that I love is the drive, showing that they got it, that they're going to do it and stuff like that.
So let's talk a little bit about your story. What prompted you to start this whole Wyld Stallion motorcycle build off?
You ever drug yourself to a job and then came home and didn't know what you were going to do with yourself for a while?
Yeah.
It's kind of like, okay, I go to work. Now I'm here. I had that 79 iron head out in the garage that I've been pushing around from a couple of different houses. And I was like, this area of the country really helped everything, even motorcycles, choppers, putting us on 4 wheels also helped transition everything into 2 wheels. And I'd really like the process of okay, you have a life, you have this, you have that, but you're still building choppers or motorcycles or whatever orientation you take with what you build. And then you go and tell me that, because you can see the bike at the end of the show. You can see bikes at shows.
Right.
But how did they get there? So I was like, it was kind of, we need something here. I'm here. My boys are here. So let's start one way to bring people's talents that might not be ready to be on a huge stage or whatever, or on a big stage at that. I don't really mind, because I feel that if you're working with or competing against somebody that is good, you're going to bring yourself up. Also, those people that have been doing it might be able to pass some knowledge on to somebody else. We have a group chat, and I found out one of those things is help with diagnostics. Hey, what does this look like if I put this on there? And it kind of brings them all together, also kind of helping one another as we go through this process.
Right. Yeah, just in the content creating community of the motorcycle here in Michigan, we're all kind of doing the same thing, but a little bit different. And you would think it would be competitive, I'm not helping them out, but it's the exact opposite. It's everyone's helping everyone out. And I think that speaks more of the motorcycle community in general.
I found that to be true. Some of the best people that I feel I've ever met is motorcycle related. I feel I have a whole nother family kind of when it comes to what I have going on in the motorcycle scenario and then in my regular life.
Yeah, definitely. Especially, I mean, over in that area of Michigan, motorcycling is there's a lot of bikes over there and a lot of, it's a big community.
Yep.
Over here is kind of a big community, but not nearly as big. Like I have way more followers on the other side of the state than I do on this side of the state. So, all right. So we have the big build off coming up. And if someone wanted to get involved late last minute now, how would they go about contacting you and saying, hey, I want to do this?
They can contact me for next year. We're going to stop all entries as of January 1.
Right.
And
so when this airs,
content for that.
Right.
And when we go and start registering for next year, which can be anytime throughout the year, and I'll put you in the registration for the following year. That'd be 26 then. Then we'll keep in touch through that, and as we get it, end of year comes around, we'll start making our lists. We start doing that kind of like end of September, October, beginning, and now is like our last, amount.
So
before.
I guess my next question is, like, if you were like overwhelmed, would you be able to limit how many builders you would have per year, or would you?
Yes.
Yeah. Because I imagine there comes a point where it's just too much.
Yeah, my wife tells me. As we keep growing this, so you're looking at year 3 right now. Year 1 was good for a year 1. Year 2 was fabulous. Year 3 is going to be phenomenal. If you look at what I put into this, where it's like, okay, I'm going to get everybody's updates. I'm going to, put all their pictures together, put that out on all the platforms, stuff like that. Put it together, get it sent over to RJ in a format so that he can take it and then put it into Thunder Roads Magazine in Michigan.
Right.
And by that time, it's been quite an amount of time, because some people will send it to me in text, some people will send it to me over, whatever their platform is, and then I move it over into a file and put it together and try to move it from there.
Right.
But 4 or 5 hours sometimes, that's an afternoon.
Yeah. Oh, totally. Yeah.
And then I'm trying to promote all, any other time that I can too. So I'm trying to put stuff together. I'm asking the builders to give me something, like, I don't care if it's I went to go get steel for this, or, hey, I picked up a part of the puzzle that's coming, and I'll put that out there also. As much promoting that I can of these people I'd like to be doing.
Right. And we talked a little bit, and I would like to get them on the podcast and just kind of, talk individually or whatever, and we can do a couple at a time or whatever, however it works out maybe, and just promote it. I think it's awesome. I was a big fan of American Chopper, all the build off bike shows in the early 2000s and late 90s, and that kind of refueled my motorcycle desires, I guess.
Oh yeah, I came up in the biker build off, coming out and everything. I was probably right around 16, right in that age, 16, 17 years old. It was all coming right then. Yeah, I watched all of it and stuff, and I mean, that kind of kicked me off. I mean, I'm more defined on what I like and what I don't like now, but that stuff sparked it from where I started. So it's a seed that I guess started whatever I am going on today.
Right. So I think most of us got started at a young age on bikes. Your story probably isn't too much different than many of us. Dirt bikes when we were kids, and it just developed from there.
Well, I've always had motorcycles, or almost even customs, around me since I was a young child. My father rode motorcycles. My uncles were in clubs, stuff like that was always around. So I just kind of always had it. So I never really can pinpoint that, like, oh, this is when I started liking it or whatever.
Right.
Because it's always just been part of what we do.
Right.
So, and even when I didn't, really have my uncles around and stuff, it was always still, we had a garage full of machines from when my father ran his shop back in there, and it just transitioned into, okay, what am I going to be able to do with these machines? And I love motorcycles. So we kind of started on that route, and
so
here we are today.
Have you had your hands dirty building bikes?
Yeah, either one way or another. I wasn't building bikes when I was a child or anything. I kind of just worked into that over the last few years. I've touched on stuff, and I'm really fond of metalwork. So, and I see motorcycles as a form aspect of art in itself. So, the two kind of go together.
Oh, yeah.
And so if I can make it or try to make it, that's where I, really started. And, to prove that I could do it. I don't want to be like, I did it, but I wanted to make sure that it was out of the question. So I pushed myself to be where I am because I wanted to be where I am. So I want to continue on that right now.
Right. So what are you riding nowadays?
Normal, I have a 2002 Harley Davidson Deuce. That is my, let's call it daily.
Your daily?
And I built two other bikes that I've been pretty much. The first one I built, 79 Ironhead, was just chasing gremlins, trying to get the thing to finally go. And then I finally did, and it's kind of no time to do, or too cold to do now.
Yeah.
And then I built Sporty last year, which I putted around shows and stuff like that, but I never really got it out or rode on it much. It's up and down the street.
Right. Yeah, I would love to have an old 40 or right in that vintage, be cool. They do that cannonball run kind of thing where they ride those antique bikes across the country. I think that would be awesome.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Probably not very comfortable, but compared to the bikes nowadays, but it would be fun to do.
It'd be fun. It's a story.
Exactly.
That's what it is. It's a story. I did this, and all I got was this stupid T-shirt. No,
right. Yeah,
but,
basically.
No, it seems like a very fun time to do. Like, go back and almost do it the way that it was done when the first time they did, or
right,
so.
Back
like,
in the day.
Living off the road, taking the bike, going through what you have to, fixing it when you need to, because it's not going to get all the way across the country.
Yeah, you probably are guaranteed you're going to be broke down at least once.
Yeah. Yeah.
Good stories, though. Good stories.
Uh-huh.
If nothing ever went wrong, it'd be pretty boring.
That's one of the things that I love is hearing those how I got through it stories.
Yeah.
And that broke on there, and it just happened to be that the gear shifter was the same spline as, something else. So I was able to, I put a, vice grip on it, and I was, using the vice grip to change the gears. Those are great stories.
Yep.
I love them.
Yeah, those are all the tales from the road that are pretty awesome that's pretty interesting. I wouldn't have thought of that, or,
And that's kind of, you can get to a show. How do you get to the show?
Right.
Same thing with Wyld Stallions. How did you get to the show?
Yeah.
Well, you started here. You got here in your first month, second month, third month. You watched the progress as you can watch it with the builder, and then August also Vintage Motorcycle Days and Wyld Stallions, finale where the public vote, and you can see him in person.
Right. I'm gonna put that on my calendar because I want to be there. So
Last week of August. I don't know what that date falls on at this moment.
Yeah, I'm not sure either, but I can find out real quick. I have all that information at the tip of my fingers with these wonderful phones. So last weekend in August is actually the 30th and 31st. The last Saturday and Sunday.
Okay.
Harley, knock it off. Silly dog. So, yeah. And I know there's all kinds of events between now and then, and the time you kick off and the time you call it. Do you guys do you go to these other events maybe and show off where they are so far, or you just pretty much do that on social media and through Thunder Roads?
Most of that's done on social media. Now, I have went to first year I went and my halfway roller bike at that time I put in the back of the car, and me and the boy ran up to Mackinac City for the Mackinac City rally. I popped it up there, but most of these people are not in the availability to really move their stuff.
Yeah.
Plus, I have out-of-state contestants that are.
Oh, really? Out-of-state contestants even?
Oh, yeah. We're looking at Ohio, Indiana, Minnesota, Pittsburgh.
Wow. Of course, they have to be at Vintage Days in Owasso at the end.
That is part of the gig.
On. Yeah.
Yep.
So that's pretty awesome. Yeah, I'm going to have to.
Yeah, last year we ended 9 builders, 4 different states. Farthest one came from Missouri.
Nice. I'm going to have to check into that. Maybe I'll have to have my, even do a tent when I'm there. I don't know if they have vendors and all that stuff there.
Yes, I'm also part of the Owasso Vintage Motorcycle Days committee.
Oh.
So
you probably got all
my
the
specialty.
You probably got all that information.
People that are coming in to set up booths for, sale or display, whatever they want to do.
Right.
So I deal with vendors on that end.
Cool.
And,
so we'll have to talk about that off the air.
There we go. Yeah. So I got with them a few years ago. Actually, they helped me 100% because I wouldn't have been able to do nothing with it if I, just was wanting to do it on my own. So, I went and asked them, hey, this is what I want to do. And they're like, oh, yeah, kind of where my, I don't want to say 25-year limit comes from, but we are part of a vintage motorcycle show. Right. So if you think about 25 years, you're just scratching the surface of that.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we're already in 2024. So, late 90s, honestly, late 90s is into it,
Yeah.
So
honestly, I would like to be 90 and before.
Right.
After, we really define this thing.
Right.
So you're using, old iron tuning carbs and getting stuff going and not playing with a million wires so you can sit down without your bike starting or whatever it has to do. Real old original motorcycles, that's what I love, and that's where I would like even the builders to one day be, is old bikes, make them run just like we were talking about with that Cannonball run.
Yeah. So,
good scenarios like that.
So I got to ask, because it's on my bucket list. I haven't been there yet. Dale's Wheels Through Time. Have you been there?
I have not.
Yeah, that's
bucket list myself.
Yep. I watch. He's got YouTube, and I watch it kind of religiously.
Oh, yeah.
That's just getting those little bikes fired up and running, and
I like the way that he does his filming. I can say it's very fluid. He speaks very well, and everything is very, what's going on.
Right. Yep.
it takes somebody like me who doesn't know anything like that and actually makes it so I can understand and follow along with what he's doing.
Right.
So,
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, it's on my bucket list. I'm gonna get down there one of these days. Sturgis is this year, so that's my big.
no, yeah, 85.
Yep, that's my big trip this year. I don't know. I got a guy down in Mississippi that's saying you need to come visit. You need to come visit. So I don't know if I'm gonna do that too or not. But
Yeah, well, when weather breaks, well, first off, we'll probably do something with popping up some kind of tent at these local swap meets that we can get to in a reasonable amount of time.
right.
And then after that, go and anything Thunder Roads puts, or is part of, I'm going to try to be there.
Yeah, RJ's quality dude. You know.
RJ and Allie is the only reason I am what I am right now. They put a lot behind me, and I 100%, owe them everything in this aspect. It wasn't for him, I wouldn't have took the jumps that the leaps of faith that I feel that I've done. I mean, I'm not going crazy, but I mean, even to have that feeling of back, to be able to go and put yourself in a situation to try to do more with it, it really helped. Like, they kicked me from thinking of an idea to making this a full-fledged actual event.
Right.
And it's growing. It's coming. I'm one of those number guys. You watched where you were on year one and what you had for people looking at your content, stuff like that. And then you go and you look at year two and it reached 100,000 people in the last of our Owasso Vintage Days finale. And I was like, wow. I mean, something that I kind of threw out there 2 years before that had gotten to the point where I can say it went across that many people's Facebook feeds one way or another. And it almost puts you back a little bit. Like, if I wanted to pull that trigger back 2 years ago, because that's really where it was. I was sitting at home and I'm like, how am I going to get that bike done? How a good way to get something done is make everybody that you know or could know watch you while you do it.
Yeah.
So then when it's like, hey, I'll let you know what I did next week, eventually you're going to have to tell them what happened next week, or you're going to absolutely look.
You got to keep coming up with content.
So, I mean, I just kind of, okay. And I kind of wanted to set the tone too, because if anybody's willing to take this ride with me, I'll put everything towards whatever they're going to put forth.
Right.
So, I'm trying to do my best to make sure, they feel that anything they give me is, also welcomed or wanted and such. I don't want somebody to feel like they're putting more in somebody else,
right?
Etc.
Yep. I said RJ, he come on my podcast very early in my start, and we hit it off pretty good, and been a big supporter of his, and he supports me, and it's him and Allie are just awesome people.
Great people.
Yeah.
Great people.
Yeah.
I'll probably go to a couple of shows pulling around what I built in 24. Try to just keep drumming up the interest and everything for both Owasso Vintage and, it's a 2-for-1. It's Wyld Stallions finale, and it's the Owasso Vintage Motorcycle Days.
Well, as that gets closer, we'll get you back on the podcast and just promote that. And, and we'll keep promoting. We'll start getting the builders on here and help promote that way too. So that'd be awesome.
With the Owasso Vintage side of things, I started helping because there were some people that were sick and stuff in the beginning, and then I kind of knew where I wanted my scenario to look like, and they've been, oh yeah, go ahead, help, do whatever, and I really got in on that. But with me not going off track, because it's that's me.
Well, that's this podcast. So you're in
I've
good
heard
company.
people go and tell that people have told me, man, Owasso keeps building every year. And people I had somebody, because I was part of the Dam Show, Detroit Antique Motorcycle show in Detroit.
Right.
This last 2024. And we had people that came up there, and the guy told me, hey, me and my work friends, we kind of set a trip, and we don't really like have an idea where we're going. We just say, oh, there's a motorcycle show or something in this general area. And then they just get there. And he said, sometimes you get to those places and you're like, oh, this is what it is. Well, at least we got the ride out of it.
Right.
He's like, we rode to Owasso and we walked through the show, and then we waited for the finale of the bike show competition, and it was a great show. So now, every year, me and the guys, before we even got done riding together, we're coming back to that show every year.
Yeah,
that's what we like. It was a good combination of good vintage bikes and us having the Wyld Stallions, which we brought 9 people there. So, and then you get to see us count the tickets, which that's how I vote. Tickets in a bucket. And then we count in front of anybody that wants to watch it, 1 vote, and then we announce it right then. So anything that you've seen from what's going to start on January 1 today to August 30th and 31st. So August 30th, that's Saturday, right?
Yep.
So August 30th would be the day. Motorcycle Days is a Friday and a Saturday. So as of August 30th, everything that has been put into Wyld Stallions and builds and everything, that's where you vote on. That's where the final product needs to be on that day. So.
Nice. I'm looking forward to it. I've been following you for a little while, watching the stuff last year kind of unfold, and like I said, I was always a big fan of those kind of shows on when they were on.
Oh yeah,
and
it started.
A mutual friend of ours.
Small, like that.
Yeah, a mutual friend of ours.
Who's this?
Mike. Steel Horse Ranch.
I love Mike.
Yeah. He's
Mike
like, man, you got to reach out and talk to Derek. I'm like, yeah. So
I felt so welcomed when I went there the first time.
Me too. Yeah.
I'll put this out there. I seen Mike at a bike show at Vehicle City, like probably a year before. It was the end of September of 23 then. And I didn't know him. I've never talked to him before in my life and stuff like that. And I'm sure he understands this. He seems like a dude that might not kind of be the nicest kind of dude. He just has that kind of thing. But like, he asked me to come up to the opening and stuff like that. And he'd already been sharing all my stuff. And I talked to him about if he would possibly be able to bring anything that he has in his collection to Owasso. And when I really start talking to the dude, when I get up to his thing, man, great dude, man.
Yeah, he's awesome.
Like ready to support you. He's ready to, help you out. What do you want me to bring to Owasso and stuff like, I have these bikes. Which ones am I bringing? I was like, that's completely up to you. I just really am glad that you're going to come.
Right.
And Jody's top notch.
Oh yeah.
She's sweet. She always comes up to you and wants to give you a hug. She's a doll. She's great people.
Yep.
That's what I was talking about earlier. These are people that I've met that are now,
family.
RJ, Allie, Mike, and Jody. They're my family now. Yep. And it's all because of this scenario. And I love that. I mean, I haven't always had that feeling, and this kind of scenario really shows me that these people are ready to support something and you and your idea and stuff like that. And it's really pulled me out of a whole mindset and put me forth on a different path with like, this is what I want. This is I want to help promote people that might not really want to pull the trigger. they might not have what they feel that they can do it. Well, let's work through it together. I'll, shoot you ideas and stuff like that. We, what you're doing and stuff. And I'm going to help promote what you're doing. So that's, again, going back to that. Well, hopefully they want to get in it and stay in it, because we got a lot of work to do here with our updates and our where you're going in the time frame. And it seems like I always end up with at least one that ends up something just happens, and that's just life.
Right.
Something happened, and I understand that. And they'll, I've even seen them try to work through that, and you kind of give them, props for continuing and trying to really put forth the effort, but you don't mind if they had to bow out, because life is,
life happens.
ultimate, defining of what you're going to be able to do.
Yep. All right. Well, I thank you for taking the time out and talk to me today.
Yeah.
And
no problem. It's been a pleasure being on here with you.
We will definitely continue with updates and helping get the word out and promote this. And yeah, and I'm excited because I'm going to mark it on my calendar. So,
thank you.
Hopefully,
we're glad to have everybody.
Me and the boys might come down, or it might just be me. I don't know.
I hope Mike's in Owasso Vintage Days.
We got a few of my club brothers who are from that area, so I don't think I'd have to twist too many arms to get somewhere to go. So.
Good.
So yeah.
Well.
All right.
Good time. It's shaping up to be another great year, and Owasso's the same. And I hope anybody that's wants to come and join us, follow along. Wyld Stallions Instagram, Facebook. We're going to be doing our builders announcements coming very soon, and it will have all of the builders Instagrams, Facebooks, stuff like that. And I encourage everybody to follow their stuff also. And then Owasso Vintage Motorcycle Days is in August, and we are also being covered by Thunder Rose Magazine of Michigan. So make sure you go out and grab the copies wherever you can find them.
Yeah.
And make sure to promote that.
I know I need to go up to my favorite place to get them is Buckley Roadside Bar. So I need to go up there one of these days and get a couple copies. I'm a couple months behind.
Spoiled. They come right to the door.
Yeah. I thought RJ was going to hook me up, but I don't mind going up to Buckley once in a while and having a cocktail with Miss Robin up there. But, all right, Derek, it has been awesome talking to you, and I'm looking forward to updates and promoting and all that fun stuff. And I'm sure we'll see each other soon.
Yes,
I know
I'm sure we'll come in contact or cross paths very soon.
Yeah,
we got a lot of motorcycle stuff coming up, and
I gotta make a trip one of these weekends down and visit Mike and Jody anyway. So, yeah, they good people, and Mike, they check in on me all the time, so they know I'm going through some stuff. So it's kind of cool that he's like, come on down, visit your kid, because my kid lives in Lapeer. Visit your kid for a day and then come hang out with me for a couple of the days. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
I was hoping to get with them here in this time period, but my schedules, if it's not packed, somebody will find something for me to do.
Oh, yeah. Yep. I hear you. Such is the life,
Oh, of course.
All right, man. Thanks for taking time out again. It was very cool talking to you. Get this out there,
right.
And we'll be talking more soon.
All right. Thank you very much. You have a great rest of your day.
You too. There you go, folks. Derek Long, Wyld Stallions motorcycle build off. Very cool. And it's going to be starting, January 1st, which is today. be looking for the promotions. Look in my show notes for links to everything. Wyld Stallions, Bill, the Wasso Days, Vintage Motorcycle Days. I'm going to put show notes. It'll be in my show notes. You'll be able to just click on the link and find out all you need to find out. Other than that, bikers, you know what? Life is short, so get after it. Thanks for listening to the Mid-Michigan Biker Podcast. Remember, bikers, life is short. Get after it.